Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so Leo, tonight we have the Princess of Swords. Really big energy today because my last reading was the Page of Swords for one of my bonus readings. So I'm like, okay, we got this energy really going today. Okay, let's take a look and see what's going on in these tea leaves. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to hit that like button, I would not be mad at you, not one bit. In fact, I would super appreciate it. Also, if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. And if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comment section. So, it looks to me, now look at that face. It just came right into perspective here. We have the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Reminds me of somebody like maybe Artemis. Almost can imagine with a some kind of helmet on, some kind of armor. Now we have a person riding a horse here. You can see the horse. Here's the head, the body, the legs, the person standing or sitting atop, hopefully not standing on top of the horse, riding the horse. You can see that there's some speed there. There's like the wind behind. Now we have another person who is standing on top of a hill. And I feel like we have a person with an axe down here. Here's their head, their body, they're holding the axe. So I feel like there is, I mean, this, with the swords, we're in this intellectual realm, right? A lot of ideas, a lot of beliefs and trying to find understandings about life, seeking wisdom, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of debate, a lot of, even building together, politicking, if you can imagine, like sitting around talking all night long about, things that you're impassioned by, things that, feel really important to life, to the world, kind of sharing ideas. Now, when we get into that princess energy, there really is this feeling of it all being so important, right? I kind of always picture this like college-aged kid that goes off into the world. They start to see things maybe a little differently. They have new experiences. They're not really in that bubble that they grew up in. They're realizing, hey, maybe I feel differently than my parents or the community I grew up in or, whatever. And now that's not as abrupt as it used to be because now we have the internet, right? And people are exposed to a variety of beliefs and lifestyles and, whatever from a younger age now. It used to be that we got up out of our parents' house and we go out in the world and all of a sudden it's like, I didn't even know this stuff was going on out here. There's so many different things to learn about and to whatever. Now, here's the thing, though. With this princess energy, very passionate, very active, right? So it can get into a point where the discourse gets contentious a little bit, right? You can become so impassioned that you maybe get into that place of anger, rage, railing against even the people that you love, even the people that you know so well. You start to see some fault in their beliefs, in the way that they conduct themselves, the opinions they have. It is easy to fall into a place of great divisiveness when you have this energy. So I'm looking at this and I feel like, yeah, there's this movement towards like, I feel like it's almost kind of like trying to change people's minds about stuff, right? Showing up at the family event and you start talking about, world affairs or the election season. Start talking about, politics. And I'm laughing because it's like, I've been ducking it. Like the Matrix, right? I'm like Neo, just trying to remain as unaffected as possible. Not by the happenings of the world. Of course, we're all affected by that, but by the arguments. No way. Not getting sucked into that. But I feel like there's this movement, this feeling of, I feel like you're impassioned by whatever is going on right now. Whatever thing you feel kindred towards, a movement, somebody running for office of some kind, right? Maybe you're somebody who's really into like local politics. Okay, I can handle that. I like talking about, our schools and here we elect our sheriffs and things like that. I don't mind talking about that stuff because it feels very close to home, right? But I feel like this is a place where, you come into that very fiery energy that we know you have, Leo. Now the person standing on the hill here, right? This is where I'm going to tell you. I'm telling myself as I say this, so don't take offense because as I'm saying it, I'm taking it in as well. We must learn to temper ourselves, right? We can be very passionate about something, but we have to remember, just because it's something really important to us does not mean that other people, first of all, even care about what we're talking about. They might have no idea. It might not even be that they don't care. They might have no understanding of it. They might have no energy or willpower or whatever to even learn about it. And that can feel like a betrayal. It can feel like, what the heck are you doing? You need to wake up. It can feel like you just want to get into their mind, get close to their psyche and say, hey, this is important. You need to focus on this. But the reality is, this is something for you, right? It's not our job. It's not our job. Let me say it again. It's not our job to tell people how to think. It's not our job to force people into caring about things. It's a fool's errand. It is. And that's the reality of it. Now, we can be proactive. We can get involved in the movements and the the you know, the grassroots and well, and even, you know, writing about it, finding people who are interested in these sectors of being, and yeah, and engaging in that way. But we cannot, you know, bring our hill to the family event and start alienating people and standing upon that hill that we will you know, we will, what is the word, pass away on. Well, I'm trying to think, what can I say on YouTube? I'm not allowed to say that word that usually goes with that phrase. I'm allowed to, but I shouldn't, because the algorithm doesn't like it. But yeah, we can't do that. I mean, we can, but it doesn't work that well. If you think back, right, even for the past, I don't know, since 2020, really, but even before that, you think about how upset, how angry, volatile, divisive people had become, even especially within their families, but also within their friends groups and you know, local communities and things like that. And I'm not going to say that people's feelings and beliefs and their action hasn't changed things, but ultimately, you know, and this is, it seems to be, it's on to the next thing every 6 months or every, you know, whatever. And along the way, you start really losing people. How many people do you remember during, you know, when we were stuck in the house, right? How many people do you remember losing their families to, not to the sickness, but to the arguing, the fighting, to being in a place of fear and lashing out at one another? And have you seen how that has played out in these years beyond that? Now, I think a lot of people made amends, you know, and just kind of fell back into, you know, the routine of things. But then there are a lot of situations where people have not talked to their families, their friends, in years now. And for what? And for what? So I look at this and I feel like it's not about me telling you, hey, don't have your beliefs, don't talk to people about them. Of course you should. Of course you should. But you have to remember to reel it in a little bit. We can't all be as passionate as you, Leo. It wears us out. You have like endless energy for things. Now, I do feel like, yeah, there is going to be a little bit of, loss here with maybe a relationship or two. We have the axe, and I do feel like, you know, this maybe is a situation that can not really be avoided. This maybe is somebody that actively seeks out arguing and conflict with you. And I think that you're just really tired of that kind of energy. And I could see you, as you have become more and more evolved in your emotionality and your ability to communicate with people and share your ideas in ways that feels more productive, less conflict, right? Having people around you that will seek you out just to press your buttons. And that happens, right? I don't know why, but it does. It happens. um, and so, and I'm laughing at myself because nobody really talks to me about this stuff anymore because I've really taken on the posture of, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, and that's my disengagement route. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't know about that. I haven't heard about that. You know? That's really interesting. Okay. Let me tell you about the squirrels and what they're doing in my backyard. I have a woodchuck living out there. You know, and it's disarming, I think, for people. But, you know, sometimes though, these people, this family member, this uncle, you know, grandfather, auntie, whoever it is, will come out of the woodwork, right, with their sight set on you just to really get your, you know, to get your goat. And sometimes we just have to distance ourselves. We have to pardon ourselves. Excuse me, I'm going to pardon myself from this whole relationship. Because this is not the vibe. Not the vibe at all. But I do see, as we turn this over, I see a collective of people. It looks like quite a few people. We also have a star in the middle. So I do feel like, yeah, you come into this situation where maybe you do find some like-minded people to work with and you have a common goal. And this feels so meaningful, okay? So ultimately, you know, I think that instead of getting out there and trying to kind of be like a missionary of whatever you are working on, or you are, you know, really passionate and have a lot of belief in, finding people that are overtly interested in the same things. Right? Now, they don't have to have the same opinion as you, but they maybe are somebody who is open to having some discourse or working together in the community to get things done. I think Leo people are I think they're just absolutely created. You're put here on Earth. No. But I do think that you're the configuration of a Leo, a solar Leo especially, but also ascendant. To get involved with local government, maybe, you know, the school board or PTA or, you know, maybe, and I didn't know this until I lived in small towns, to be honest with you. I lived in cities most of my life, and I never was involved with, like, you know, community planning or voting on, you know, should we put a roundabout here or should we put a stop sign, you know, that kind of thing. But in small towns or smaller cities, absolutely accessible. You can, you know, you can go and you can be heard. You can find people within your community to work together to get things changed. And I think as a Leo person, you know, this is a good place to set your sights where you can put your passions into action. So maybe worth really thinking about. It could even be, you know, that you start something like, what is that thing called? Neighborhood watch, like something like that, right? Or, you know, making like one of those library things, the little mini libraries, like on your front lawn, you know, getting involved in like your local food shelf or whatever it is. But I think that putting this energy into actually doing something, and I feel you just absolutely in your full power I mean, just activated, feeling like you wake up and there are things to think about and things to do, and you have, you know, tasks to be done, and it feels meaningful. It makes you feel engaged with your life, with the world, with the people around you, and maybe you even make some friends, some allies in this process. And, you know, I think that's really important for a Leo person. It really is. Now, we also have the dragon right here. So I feel like this is something that really is going to take up a good amount of time as we finish out this year. I see this ending up being kind of the focus of your, at least, free time. Okay. Now we have the number 5 down here, and I want to look for some letters and things. See if we have any indication of numbers, letters. I've been thinking about doing lucky number videos. I know I get a lot of requests for lucky numbers and things. Okay, so we also have 57. 57 as a number. We have 5, 57. We have an uppercase E, okay? We have the heart right here. You pull it out, they look different. Okay, so we have a face. We have an eye. We have an eye over here. We have a nose. We have the mouth, kind of the shape of the face, the hair up here. Almost reminds me of like a pompadour, like Elvis, right? Like a 50s kind of hairdo. And I wonder, up here we have, it looks like a lion. I wonder if you come from a family of Leos. We have Leos and we have the Gemini. So Leo and Gemini family, I think. And this person, I almost feel like this is grandpa. It could be grandma with like a shorter haircut. But I do feel like this is somebody who maybe you looked up to. Maybe they were like a local business person. They had kind of some influence in the community. And I feel like this is something that, and I'm almost thinking like maybe they were even like a volunteer fire person, like a fireman or firewoman, fire person, I guess. And, or maybe, like that, or maybe like EMT, or they were something where it was more of like a volunteer community role. Or maybe they work there, but they're very involved in the community. And this gave them some amount of sway. And they're very networked. And I feel like growing up around this really made you want to be like have your own business, be somebody who is important to the community, somebody who has some sway. And I think that's something that maybe along the way didn't really occur naturally. So you were busy with your life, maybe doing, another career, having a family, getting yourself established. But I think as you've gotten a little bit older, you've returned to this idea of like, I want to get involved. I want to do something. I want to get involved with like maybe even something through the church or whatever. But I think that this is where you find yourself ultimately. I mean, I really do. I think you find something that it clicks. Like you maybe have been searching for years, not knowing why there was just this part of yourself that felt, yeah, not empty, but like lacking in some way. There's just something there that could be filled up, right? And I think in finding this action, finding this connectedness, finding a way to voice your, not only your beliefs, but your care, your empathy, your compassion, your ability to really get in there and get things done, right? This is where you find kind of like, yeah, this is what I was supposed to be doing all along. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We just have to remember, you know, I think we have to continually check in with ourselves, make sure that we are staying grounded and that we are not getting into a place of becoming, you know, like a know-it-all or dogmatic or, you know, unable to accept or to become intolerant, really, of other people's ways of living or beliefs or whatever. I think that's at the moment that happens, we start to go wrong. We have to keep open minds about things as much as we can, right? And so I want to look at this one over here. We have 210. We also have a person who I feel this real kind of draw towards prayer for you right now. I feel like you have this connection where I know this is going to sound strange, but I almost wonder if you need to be starting like a prayer circle or becoming involved in like a prayer chain. Is that what they're called? Where, and this is usually like through churches or, well, even my husband and I pray for people a lot. I know he asks for prayer requests. And we do. We pray about people constantly. So if you do have any prayer requests, definitely put them in the comments. I never mention it, but people do ask. And I do in earnest pray for a lot of people. But I think starting something like this yourself or getting involved with maybe your church, your mosque, your temple, whatever it is that you, maybe you're a solitary practitioner, but maybe holding space for this kind of work. Because I think that you have a powerful connection. I believe prayer works. I do. Even if it's like a placebo effect, it truly affects how we experience the world. And it does. I feel like it really does have some rippling impact on all of this chaos. All of the chaos. So yes, I do. I see that being something that maybe will be really important for you. I think it's something that, might end up being one of the great passions of your life. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to do our self-care cards over here. And I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. We have infinite potential. Yes. I am flexible. I move my body in ways that feel good. My body is relaxed and at ease. I am healthy and strong. I stretch toward my infinite potential. I stretch through my infinite potential. Absolutely. Very timely for our household. My daughter, my husband, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, and my beautiful daughter, she just turned 4 recently. They've gotten into this morning routine of doing stretches, and now I'm doing stretches with them as well. And yeah, it feels really good. It feels nice. Alleviating some of my back pains. And so I do. I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, yes, that stretching is a lovely, lovely feeling. All right. Leo, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And what's the last thing? Free to subscribe. Oh, yes. If you want to leave a comment, I read them all. Leave it. Let me know what's going on. Also, if you are new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments section. All right, Leo, I'm going to tell you again. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night. Good night. Good night.